When you look up at the moon, what do you really see? For most of human history, it's been a symbol of constancy, a silent, dusty companion. Science has long told us it's a geologically dead rock, a world of craters and silence. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the moon has secret? Recent discoveries have shown the moon is anything but quiet, with seismic activity still shaking its surface, and tucked away in NASA's own archives are images so strange they've sparked a furious debate. We're not just talking about rocks. We're talking about anomalies that seem to defy natural explanation. Today, we're opening the case files on the moon's greatest mysteries. What happens when they appear to have sharp geometric forms or cast shadows that just don't make sense? Scientists and photoanalysts overwhelmingly agree these structures are almost certainly digital artifacts. The original images were captured on film, beamed across 250,000 miles of space, and processed with early analog and digital tech. A single misplaced pixel, a bit of signal noise, or a glitch on the film could create a vertical line that, when blown up and overanalyzed, starts to look like a tower. Experts consider them photographic ghosts, born from the limits of old technology. And there is absolutely no credible evidence that NASA's planning to investigate them as potential artificial structures. This is where the official story starts to get a little more complicated, and our investigation really begins. Can every anomaly be explained away as a simple glitch? We LL break down all the evidence from the official to the outlandish to finally ask the question, are we looking at natural wonders, or is this proof of an alien presence? Let's open the file on the gruithuis and domes. These are two large, rounded domes that look totally different from their source. This magnetic field acts like a shield, deflecting the solar wind that constantly darkens the lunar soil. In fact, NASA's Lunar Vertex rover is scheduled to travel to the most famous swirl, Rhina Gamma, to study it up close and finally get to the bottom of its origin. The protected areas stay brighter, creating the swirl patterns. Deep beneath the South Pole-like basin, the single largest crater in our solar system lies a gigantic mass anomaly. It's a great explanation, but it leads to a deeper question. Where did these magnetic fields come from? The moon doesn't have a global magnetic field like Earth. We're talking about a mass weighing an estimated 2.18 billion, potentially stretching for hundreds of kilometers deep into the lunar mantle. One of the lead scientists, Peter B. James, put it this way. Imagine taking a pile of metal 5 times larger than the big island of Hawaii and burying it underground. He described seeing towers and spherical buildings. Then there's Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the 6th man to walk on the moon. Mitchell was outspoken in his later years, insisting that extraterrestrials are real and that their existence has been covered up for decades. Some of the most unsettling accounts come from people who claim to be on the inside. They are compelling stories from seemingly credible people, but they aren't backed by evidence and aren't accepted by the scientific community. It's hard to dismiss everything as just a coincidence or a glitch. Still, their words have become a cornerstone of the lunar conspiracy narrative, forcing us to wonder. Are these just fantastic tales, or whispers of a truth too big to contain? That's roughly how much unexpected mass we detected. Nobody knows for sure. Now it's your turn to be the judge. Are these just incredible coincidences and misunderstood natural wonders? Or are we looking at the remnants of something extraordinary? Let us know your verdict in the comments below. Optical illusions, old tech, and bizarre geological processes we're just now beginning to understand. We now know the moon is a complex and dynamic world, with real wonders like the Gruithuisen domes and the colossal mass lurking under the South Polaitkin Basin. The leading theory is that it's the incredibly dense metallic core of the giant asteroid that slammed into the moon billions of years ago, forming the basin itself. Another idea is that it has a concentration of dense oxides left over from when the moon, ancient magma ocean cooled. Whatever it is, it's so heavy, it's actually weighing the basin floor down by more than half a mile. This is a real lunar mystery, far stranger than any photographic glitch. For years, scientists were stumped. Recent analysis has confirmed they're likely made of silicic lava, which is very similar to granite here on Earth, seeing things that aren't there. So how did these domes get there? Scientists don't say it's impossible, but they admit the domes challenge our basic understanding of how the moon works. They are a genuine enigma. The official explanation for many of these strange sites is simple. While scientists searched for a new geological model, others wonder if it points to something artificial. It's a leap, for sure, but the central mystery is very real. These are known as lunar swirls. They aren't craters or mountains. So what are they? Proponents of the alien theory claim it's too defined to be natural, with some speculated it's height at over a mile based on shadow analysis. Then there's the tower, another supposed structure from a different photo, which some have described as a colossal piece of architecture. Two believers, these are decaying ruins or even an active hidden outpost. That's the fancy term for our brain's tendency to see familiar patterns like faces or shapes seem random, arrangements of rock and shadow. Combine that with low-resolution images and harsh lighting, and you've got a perfect recipe for seeing things that don't exist for a long time. That was good enough. For decades, anomaly hunters have held up grainy, black and white photos from the Apollo era as their smoking gun. But what happens when the anomalies aren't just vague shapes? Ghost in the Machine, our first exhibits are some of the most famous and controversial. The shard in the tower. The shard appears as a huge spire-like object rising from the lunar surface, casting a long, sharp shadow. But here comes the reality. Still, for some, that answer feels a little too neat. The granite puzzle, while old photos are debatable, some lunar mysteries are so real that NASA is spending millions to figure them out. And here's the puzzle. On our planet, granite needs two things. The moon supposedly lacks lots of water and active plate tectonics. NASA is so intrigued that a commercial lunar payload services mission is slated to land a rover there to drill into the domes and solve the mystery once and for all. The ghostly swirls next up. Imagine bright, wispy patterns painted across the moon's surface, some stretching for hundreds of kilometers. The leading theory is that the swirls are linked to pockets of intense, localized magnetic fields in the moon's crust. It's another puzzle that science is actively trying to solve. The real colossus. While grainy photos of towers are fun to speculate about, scientists have found a real massive structure on the moon, and it's hiding in plain sight, discovered using data from NASA's Grail mission, which measures the moon's gravity. This thing is enormous. So what is it? The human element whispers from the inside the evidence for lunar strangeness isn't just in rocks and gravity fields. Take Carl Wolf, a former Air Force sergeant who testified that in the 1960s, he saw classified photos from a lunar orbiter showing artificial bases on the far side of the moon. Now, it's important to be clear. These are unverified claims. Conclusion, you decide. So, where does that leave us? On one hand, we have science, which offers logical ifs, sometimes on the other hand, the sheer number of anomalies and the chilling testimony from alleged insiders keeps the question alive. We've laid out the evidence, from scientific fact to speculative theory.